It started out with the notion that this is about school choice. It is not about school choice. We already have school choice. This is about you paying for someone else's school choice. There are two fatal flaws in this bill. One is the assumption, and was stated here, that the costs will not go up unless a future legislature decides otherwise. Well, that's exactly the same thing as saying costs will go up when a future legislature decides to do so. And so there's zero protection about costs going up. And in fact, this bill only funds less than 10,000 students, and we have over 300,000 students that would be eligible for this. So it's clear that just by those numbers alone, the pressure to increase the amount towards this effort will clearly be put upon this legislature. There's also zero protection for any element of accountability that might be considered in this bill, because a future legislature can decide to remove them. So it's a false promise that the dollar amount is limited and that the accountability is there to whatever extent it is. The other fatal flaw in this bill is one of omission. There is zero consequences in this bill if a parent decides to divorce themselves from the public school system. They don't like it, they don't trust it, they think it's awful, we don't want anything to do with it. Well, if you want out, where is, your kid is gone. They don't get to come back for that school year. Okay, that is not in this bill, because right now, if they can come back, school has to take them. If you want to come back, you'd have to test for grade level. Who knows what kind of education you got? And so that's not in this bill, a requirement, a consequence of taking your kid out of the public school system. Where is the loss of access to the things that public schools offer, like participating in sports teams? That is not in this bill. What this amounts to, without consequences for this decision and saying, I want $5,000 or $5,000 credit, and I want all the benefits of the school system, there's no consequence. This winds up being a financial benefit to let you try out a private or religious school at no risk. Okay, so there needs to be consequences for these decisions. But there's one consequence that is inherent, and that is the loss of the protections that the public school system provides parents and students that are taken for granted but go away when you decide to bet on the private sector. Admittance. You may want to send your kid to a private school. They don't have to take you. Public schools do. Expulsion. Your child could be expelled for any reason without recourse. Public schools can't do that. Grievances. You have a grievance with a teacher? Public schools have to address that. Private schools can ignore it. Not only that, the easiest way to deal with a grievance is to expel your kid and get rid of the problem. Costs. Public schools can't raise the cost overnight. Private schools can raise the tuition. Accommodations, especially for those who are in special needs. Private schools don't have to do that. Public schools have systems, have processes to be able to do that. Safety, we talked about background checks. There is no requirement for any background checks. And then curriculum. I went through the Common Core wars in the House Education Committee to make sure we had the Idaho core standards. We have no standards here, other than some vague words in there. So, at the end of the day, while this isn't a voucher per se, any dollar that goes towards paying for private schools is one less dollar available for public schools, one way or another. So, at the end of the day, our job is to morally, ethically, and constitutionally to support and protect the public school system, not lay the groundwork for financially destroying it.